Shippensburg Cross Country with another trip to the National Championships in 2015. We're taking a look at this year's NCAA Championships with head coach Steve Spence. Steve, as always, thanks for taking the time.
My pleasure.
To get to the NCAA Championships, the teams had to be able to produce at the regional meet. They had a strong conference meet, continued that into a strong showing at regionals. Could you talk a little bit about, being pleased and the product that was produced at regionals to get to this NCAA Championship meet?
Well, at the regional meet, both men and women ran very well. The women's was quite the competition with a lot of parity with the different teams between, I think, the first and fifth team. It's only 25 points. Right. So when we finished the race, I had no idea whether we won or whether we were fifth, and it could have gone either way. It was that close. So we were happy to come out somewhere in the middle and earn our 8th consecutive trip to the NCAA meet. And unfortunately, with the guys, when they finished, we had Doug Knoll, one of our track coaches, at the finish line. He's a math teacher, sure. And he had already had it figured out. And he assured me that we won as soon as I got near the finish line. So not quite the anxiety there. But yes, we ran very well and happy to be going to Joplin.
Joplin, Missouri is the host. It's Missouri Southern State, I think, the school that's the right to host this year's national championships. Heading out to the Midwest a little bit. I personally am not obviously very familiar with the course. I'm sure a lot of people potentially watching this video aren't familiar with the terrain of Joplin, Missouri, other than it's probably maybe leaning toward flat given you're in the Midwest. But could you talk a little bit about what this course is going to present to your runners this week?
Yeah, well, Joplin is a similar course to what we've run in the past at the Paul Short meet at Lehigh, as well as some people compare it a lot to the Carlisle course, where we used to run Dickinson used to have their home course there, and a lot of our runners have run on that course in high school, so it's a good comparison. But interestingly enough, in 2012, we had the regional at Lock Haven, and then the NCAA meet was at Joplin. So it's very easy to go back and compare the times as to what we ran at the regional meet and then how much faster or slower the course at Joplin runs. On the women's side, the course actually runs a little slower. I think Katie Spratford only ran 3 seconds slower and when she placed third in Joplin. But on average, it looks like it's about 20 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds slower for the women. And for the men, it's actually faster than Lock Haven, if that's possible.
Wow, yeah,
and
it's hard to do.
The reason being that the course is actually short.
I see.
Okay, so
right.
It's not a full 10K at Joplin. I'm not sure the exact distance, but
somewhat modified.
Yeah, but it's rolling hills, and we have similar courses around here that we run well on.
Now, that basically, maybe in a sense, as far as the training purposes go, given you're going to have a lot of similar training for what you were getting ready for the Lock Haven run, then sort of getting ready again to continue into this Joplin course. It's not like you're necessarily changing your terrain a lot. You're continuing the training, and some of that training, you train all the way with this meet in mind. So sort of a continuation of a familiar pattern.
Yeah, well, I think with the training, getting fit and fast is the best approach to running any course.
Yeah,
and
true.
And we definitely have transitioned here at the end of the season to actually getting on the track a little bit, and that seems to have made a big difference.
Now we'll take a look first a little bit more so at the women's side. Really an exciting year for your women because you've been skewed toward a younger team. Junior Casey Norton's done an outstanding job. She's been the clear front #1 runner for your team this year. But you've gotten so many contributions, and we've talked about this a little bit before, from your sophomore class, really. Bree Dissinger and Katie Reese, Hannah Fulton as a redshirt freshman, and others contributing to that mix. And that seems to be, it's been neat to see the production you've gotten out of that group. A couple people are a 2 here, a 3 there, a 4 there, but they're all sort of in that mix to score, and they've really shown a lot of progress this year, despite being relatively green in terms of college cross country.
Yeah, we're definitely really excited about the future with this group, but we don't want to discount what we can do this year.
Sure, yeah.
And they're going to gain valuable experience based on kind of the way things played out in 2012 with the transition, adding 15 to 20 seconds per runner going into the course there at Joplin. I'm expecting somewhere in the 16 to 20 range if we run in a similar fashion to what we ran at the regional meet. And I do want to say Casey Norden has stepped up tremendously and has been a great leader for us this year, not only just with her running ability, but also, kind of taking control as her team and, the upperclassmen to lead this young group.
And certainly too, not to downplay again. Yeah, we want to make a significant run at it this weekend. I think too, it's impressive to see the runners that you've had be your contributors this year. They've wasted no time stepping right in and being those contributors, and that I think is pretty neat just to be able to say they've come right in and really done a nice job.
Yeah, and some of them came in with not the flashy high school credentials or anything, but Katie Reese is an example of that. She was a 20-30 type runner in high school, and my gosh, she's going through now in like 18 flat at 5K en route to her 6K time. So she's really just an example of what can be done when someone decides that they're going to dedicate themselves, they're going to work hard, and they're going to live the lifestyle.
And talking about a group that has dedicated themselves and lived that lifestyle this year, your men's team has really been just a fun thing to watch this year. And certainly the most dominant example of that was the performance of having every runner be an all-region runner and a top 20, 25 finisher at the regional meet to win that regional title, just the second in Shippensburg's history. And all year long, it seems like, it's been that pack mentality in a sense, too, that you've never really had much of a distance between the guys in terms of finishing. They've all sort of, been in that area. Kieran's been the number one a couple times. Alex Bala's been the number one. Bernie at the start of the year. Your contributors have been, plentiful, and it seems like they almost, just from the outsider standpoint, that they not only do they love running and they've made that commitment to success, but they love running with each other, and they seem to thrive off of that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that one of the differences this year than compared to what we've had the last 3 or 4 years has been their commitment to each other, and they really want to see each other do well, and they realize that the importance of the success of our teams dependent upon how they gel as a unit and how they work together and how they motivate each other, both when we're running and outside of running as well, to do the appropriate things that are going to allow us to get the rest and nutrition and everything that is key to being successful on Saturdays on race day. And I think it's a lot like that 2010. There's guys in 2009, 2010 that were just such a close unit. And they were not only out there running for themselves, but definitely for each other.
And there's certainly a lot of motivation from this group. I remembered, talking with, Bernie England, even in the preseason, saying how when we did the anniversary picture of the 1990 team, this being the 25th year anniversary of that group, and a couple of the guys saw that and said, "Wow, that's pretty cool, the anniversary of a team that's the best in school history. That's knowing what we had in store, that there was that motivation to do well. That's, I know, in the back of their mind. But, there's motivation because, in a sense, too, we've had some really strong Atlantic region teams get to this meet, and not always has it been the case where there's been success from whether it's SHIP or, whatever the school is. There's been some down years. There's been some up years. I know one of the crowning jewels for us was that year in 2010, or down in Louisville, running in the snow, that really successful team effort. And I imagine that that's really, on the forefront of the thought this year, is that not only is SHIP looking at this, looking to have a lot of success, Lock Haven, who we, narrowly beat at regionals, is probably looking at it the same way. And there's the potential for this region to have a really strong performance at nationals this year.
Yeah, Lock Haven has a great team, and there's been talk that, Shippensburg and Lock Haven's team this year may be the best ever in the conference. But I'll definitely reserve that for
Right.
for after the season, see how we do at the NCAA meet, because there have been some great teams, and we've had national championship teams from Edinburgh, and our team that placed second was pretty good as well. but we, I think we have the potential to do very well at the NCAA meet based on how they transitioned in 2012 with the times they ran at the regional meet to Joplin. I think that we're clearly a top, 6, 7, 8 team as well as Lock Haven, and I'd love to see both our teams in there, and we hope to be able to work together to some extent. Of course, that last part of the race, it's every man for himself.
Sure. Yeah.
But if they can help us, we can help them get to that point. That's fantastic.
Especially with the battles throughout the entire season. And I guess one of the other motivating factors too is that if these two teams both go top 8, that sets up for 5 in the region potentially in the future year. Correct?
Yeah, based on the current formula that we're using, if we were to both go top 8, that would give us 5 regional teams next year. However, it looks like that's probably going to change.
Oh, that's
So it's all,
right.
yeah, of
Right.
course, when we are in a position to do that. But we'll see what actually becomes of that. But even if it does change, that would be, I think, great for us to be in the top 8 and maybe, hopefully, run as well as that team did in 2010, maybe better.
A lot to be excited about as we head into this weekend of NCAA championships. NCAA.com will have live coverage of the meet. You can click on the links on shipraiders.com and NCAA.com to watch them run this weekend, along with, I believe, they have live results throughout the race. And be sure to check out shipraiders.com for all of the coverage from this weekend. Steve, best of luck, safe travels out there, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.